Good morning. So I just want to start off with saying that we had a spectacular event here yesterday, Immersion, where we spent a full day in a spiritual retreat that Jake put together. He did such a great job, and everybody who helped out with that, all the facilitators, it was awesome. Thank you so much. So as Jake said, we're starting a new series on values that Jake kicked off last week. And today it's an honor to talk to you about a value that I cherish, grit. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jean. I've been part of Aldea for many, many years. I serve on the leadership team. It's great to see so many new faces, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of this journey as we talk today about grit. So grit is, as Angela said in her opening video, grit is passion and perseverance for a very long-term goal. Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out, not just the week, not just the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. Angela was a very motivated young woman. As she was growing up in an Asian culture, she was often told by her father, "Well, you're no genius." And despite this constant accusation of her apparent lack of intelligence, Angela was an overachiever. She won numerous awards for her academic achievements, and this leads her on a quest driven really by her own curiosity of what drives people to succeed. And through her research, she concluded that raw intelligence has very little to do with success. While it certainly helps, what really matters is effort, or more precisely, what she defines as passion and perseverance, figuring out what you want, going after it, and having the confidence and determination to achieve your goals. Well, Angela did a very in-depth scientific analysis of grit and determined that it is the value that above all others that leads to success. Today we're going to talk more about a spiritual definition of grit. But if you're interested in her analysis, she wrote this great book. If anybody wants to look at it after today, it's Grit, the Power of Passion and Perseverance. I highly recommend it. I've read it several times. All right, we're going to start off with grit as trust in the journey. This is our first quote. "Trust God that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. All things are passing. God never changes. Patience obtains all things," by St. Teresa of Avila. This is really hard. Life gets crazy and bad things happen. We lose our jobs. We get our world turned around with something like COVID. We live in times of doubt and uncertainty because of our political climate. We get a medical diagnosis. We lose a friend. We lose a loved one. Spiritual grit is grounded in trust. It's hard to trust because we want to get angry. We want to blame someone for the bad things that are happening. But if we want to get through these challenges in life, we need to develop a spiritual grit that is rooted in trust. We need to trust that we are exactly where we are meant to be. We need to believe that life has purpose and meaning, even when we don't understand why things are happening. All things are passing. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. When COVID hit, it was a very scary time initially, as I'm sure we all remember. Was this going to wipe us all out? What was going to happen to our economy? What was going to happen to Aldea? Would I survive? Would my family survive? We had a young woman living with us at the time who was struggling with finding her path through life, and COVID was kind of a tipping point for her. I just kept assuring her that what we were going through was a temporary hurdle, and my mantra was, "This too shall pass." She moved back to be with her family, and that was actually the best move for her. And her parting gift to me was a painting that she made that said, "This too shall pass." She got it. She is doing very well, and I believe the experience taught her, and certainly us, that we sometimes need to trust, that sometimes we don't have all the answers. In hindsight, COVID was actually quite a blessing for our family. My sons were living on opposite sides of the country, one in New York, one in San Francisco. When COVID hit, they were sent home with their computers and told that they had to work remotely, so they both came back to Tucson. It was great. It was really good for us as a family. We grew very close to our sons, who are now adults, and it truly was a special and positive time for us. And Aldea survived. COVID hit right before our pastor of 25 years retired. He retired in December of 2019. So we had a new pastor who started January 2020, and we immediately had to go to an online format that lasted for over a year, and we suffered from that. We lost many people. Returning to in-person services did not work for Pastor Dave, and we ended up with Pastor Jake. Woo! So a very happy ending to that story. And we are getting closer and closer to our goal of sustainability. We just needed to trust. Sure, we thought about closing our doors, but we decided to trust that Aldea would survive, as Tibor alluded to earlier. We endured. We had grit. All right, next slide. Trust is enduring transformation. The Buddha says, endurance is one of the most difficult disciples, but final victory comes to the one who endures. So how do you view hardships? Do you view them as punishment? When something bad happens, do you immediately go down the dark rabbit hole of, why me? What did I do to cause this bad thing to happen to me? Why am I being punished? I believe the better approach is to look at hardships as an invitation to transform. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? We need grit to endure transformation, and sometimes we just need to go back to our trust and realize that we endure not because we are tough, but because we are given an opportunity to learn a valuable life lesson. We go through a difficult time and we come out of the other side of it with an appreciation of everything we have learned or gained from the experience. I know I am not alone in this perspective. We have all gone through a difficult transformation to the realization that it was a valuable experience. We had the strength and fortitude to get through it that we didn't even know we had. We had grit. We had the ability to endure. I submit that endurance is a sacred spiritual practice. I love this Rumi quote. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. Let life live through you. Think about that. If I've learned nothing else during my short time on this beautiful earth, we have control over nothing, except our own reaction to the curveballs and the obstacles that life throws at us. Live through those curveballs, those obstacles, as well as the joys and pleasures of life. As Nietzsche said, he who has the why to live can bear almost any how. The why is our purpose, and our purpose is what drives our grit. It is our reason for living, our motivation, our core values. If we have the why, we can overcome any how. Next slide. Grit is hoping in the dark. Faith is the bird that feels the light when the dawn is still dark. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name. Thank you. I heard somebody say it really well. True spiritual grit shines brightest in the dark seasons, acting in hope, singing when we cannot yet see the light. This is what Angela Duckworth has to say about hope. Next slide. What is hope? One kind of hope is the expectation that tomorrow will be better than today. It's the kind of hope that has us yearning for sunnier weather or a smoother path ahead. It comes without the burden of responsibility. The onus is on the universe to make things better. Grit depends on a different kind of hope. It rests on the expectation that our own efforts can improve our future. I have a feeling tomorrow will be better is different than I resolve to make tomorrow better. The hope that gritty people have has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with getting up again. So for gritty people, hope is a verb, an action verb. It is what makes us get up again. These quotes signify this really well. Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final, failure is not final. It is the courage to continue that counts." Margaret Thatcher said, "You may have to fight a battle more than once to win it." And finally, Thomas Edison said, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." Discipline, determination, resilience, hope. I saw a bumper sticker the other day, "Don't let a bad day win." Sometimes we just have to make it a good day. So recently, I have tried to become the bird who feels the light when the dawn is still dark. I was diagnosed just a little more than a year ago on my birthday with stage 3C, high-grade serous ovarian cancer. It is a transformation I did not choose, but one that I've had to endure, and one where I've had to trust in the journey and what it is teaching me. I've learned much about myself. My view of life and what matters and doesn't matter has become clearer to me, and I'm sure I still have more to learn. I've had to experience hope through action. I'm hoping for a good outcome from all of this by learning all that I can about cancer, about supplements that may help with treatment, finding providers who are aligned with my goals, treatments that can improve my immune system and help my body to heal. I've gone through all the traditional treatment modalities of surgery, chemotherapy, and the potential for more of all of that. I used to have straight blonde hair at one point. I've never been in remission, but I have been in a stage for several months of no growth and maintaining status quo that I'm very grateful for. I've recently been experiencing symptoms, and I'm going to go get some more scans done this week. And if things are changing, well, then I'll have to endure those changes. and with hope through action, make whatever changes I need to make. It's just an obstacle on my road to recovery. I'm sure there'll be more. But I've learned to endure through trusting my intuition, accepting the love and support of my family and friends, and having a deep knowing that there will be a light on the other side of this journey. Is this how I wanted to spend my golden years? No. I had different plans: retirement, travel, maybe working with my husband, house projects, maybe helping to raise my future grandchildren. My sons need to get busy. I have learned that plans change. I need to be the willow that bends in the wind. Otherwise, I would just get stuck. My why hasn't changed, just my how. My why at this time is simply my deep desire to live. I have much to live for. I have goals to accomplish. I have a family who cares for me. I have shit to do. Pardon the French. I know we all have to die. It would be easy to assume that my time is up and I go down the road of despair. I just can't do that. I have passion for this life and perseverance to fight this battle. I'm realistic in that I realize the odds are not in my favor, but I can't let potential reality steal my own reality. Sometimes we have to fight the fights we are told we cannot win. My new mantra is, let's fix this or die trying. I cannot and will not stop. Someone asked me recently, do you consider yourself naturally gritty? My answer to that question is yes, but I have to work at it. I read, I meditate, I pray. I do everything I can to just keep myself positive. If someone says something to me I find motivating, I have a little book in my purse, I write it down. I was at a support group and I was talking about cutting down some of my supplements, and someone said to me, don't take your foot off the gas. That went in my little book. I went to see Jordan Peterson recently, and I know he's controversial, but he gave a really good talk, and he said, where you set your aim is the answer to your prayers. That went into my little book. So yes, I'm gritty, but I work at it. I have to keep myself motivated. Okay, our next slide. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all matter of things shall be well, by Julian of Norwich. I can pronounce that one. No matter how this story ends, all shall be well. An amazing person who is a true example of someone who exhibited grit is Helen Keller. She said, next, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Spiritual grit doesn't mean never wobbling. It means continuing even with the wobble. Trusting that beneath all the chaos, all will be well. We wobble, we fall, we fail. We get up and try again. Beating yourself up is a waste of time. You are not perfect. I am not perfect. But I will endure. My family will endure, and as a community, we will endure. Am I scared? Of course. But as well said by John Wayne, courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. I'm choosing to saddle up. There's an old Japanese saying, fall 7, rise 8. All I can do is keep getting up. That's all any of us can do, Aldea. Keep getting up. Be persistent. Endure. Hope. Get up again and again and again. Don't sit back and wait for life to happen to you. Make it a good day, a good year, a good life. Reach for that light that we all have inside of us and make it shine. Be gritty. I'd like to close my remarks today with a blessing. Spirit of strength, root us deeply in trust. When the path grows heavy, may we remember we are carried. When the night feels endless, may we feel the light rising within us. Grant us the courage to continue, the patience to endure, and the grace to know that all shall be well. May we walk forward in faith with hearts steady and open. Amen. Thank you.